Well, you can see the rosette on this cribbage board's coming along. I've got almost all of it done. The only thing that's left now is to do these kind of spread fan shapes along the, I guess not quite outside, but most outside there. And I think it's kind of interesting how different it looks, yet if you look at the actual contours of the lines, this area is actually geometrically pretty much the same as this area, where we've got this outside curving line, we've got an inside kind of concave line, and then the fanned lines coming out. So it's kind of the same actual shape. So I'm not, and if you've followed my other videos, maybe familiar, I've shown carving this kind of thing before, so I won't make a real big deal of it, but show the process here in the context of this cribbage board. And so to adjust for that last one, I had some stuff kind of get hung up in there. I'm going to go ahead and make sure I'm pushing the knife down all the way to get to the bottom of the chip all the way around. I only really have to be very careful in here where the ridges are close together and kind of come in tight and are pretty small, so I don't have to worry too much about undercutting through the rest of these chips. So that one came out a lot nicer. And as I'm coming up, this grain is kind of becoming more of an issue for me. As I'm trying to cut this way, I'm going against the grain. So I'm going to continue cutting against the grain on this cut, because I don't really have a great alternative. Do that one and then switch it up and do this one with the grain. And the reason I'm doing these in that order, why I said I didn't have much choice, is I really want to do this cut that's against the previous chip that I made first. And then if I continue along, I'm coming against the grain on this cut, and if I come from this way, I'm going against the grain that way. So really both of these next two cuts need to come from this point, but the problem is there's no other cuts there, so I'm going to kind of risk some pressure, internal pressure in the wood can cause issues for me. So I always prefer to, if I have a cut started, come from one of the sides of that cut rather than starting a new one off someplace else like that. So that's why I'm doing it this way. I find that tends to work better for me to get smoother cuts. You'll see as I carve along this line, it's kind of finishing out this sort of V-shaped wing kind of positive image that's remaining in that area. So I didn't create this pattern. It's when I think I bought a pattern library that included it. I did obviously overlay the state design onto it, but if you do create your own patterns, that's definitely something to keep in mind, is the balance of carved and uncarved areas, to leave some of these gaps in between the segments. So we've got kind of these fan shapes coming around here, and then inside of that we've got this kind of V shape, and then between them another V shape, and then between these another V shape. So that helps separate the sections, helps your eye understand kind of what to look at, and make it not seem cluttered. And because they're all similar shapes, they all kind of fit together. They feel like a cohesive pattern. So now this piece is the first section that it actually crosses the seam here from the lighter wood into this darker part. So being aware of that transition, how the wood's responding to the knife differently between those two areas. So we've got several of these that are either complete or almost complete fan shapes. And the next video here I'll go over probably doing this one that's a little bit cut off by the state